Hello and a very good evening to all of you students, and welcome to this Study in Canada web series arranged by us, OneApply by Gyanbari. I am Harshan. I am a counselor at OneApply by Gyanbari, and joining me today is Miss Ayona Teachers. She's a Canada specialist, and she'll be taking you more in depth about the educational programs in Canada. So before we begin, I've always been very deeply interested in taking students on their international study abroad, journey. I have been an international student myself, and I have seen what are the challenges and what are some of the amazing things that happen when you do go and study abroad and live there. So I wanted to be part of you students, your journey into this wonderful experience and to study abroad. So yes, so once again, welcome to Study in Canada web series. Before we begin, I'll take you through a brief journey of how we're going to be progressing in this webinar. We'll start about briefly introducing who we are as a team, OneApply by Gyanbari, and then we'll go through some of the recent Canadian university placements. And then, of course, I'll take you through a little bit about Canada as a country and why you should study there. What are the benefits and advantages of studying in Canada? We'll go through some of the post-secondary educations, institutions, the different kinds of institutions. I'll take you through that. And then some of the popular universities and colleges that we are associated with in Canada. And then my colleague would take over for a more in-depth look into the education system in Canada, the academic years, what dates they start, what are some of the popular choice of subjects and fields right now in Canada. What are some of the entry requirements? Some basic mandatory requirements, some optional requirements for both undergraduate and postgraduate studies. What are the tuition fees, living expenses, scholarship opportunities, postgraduate work opportunities. And finally, I will conclude the session by highlighting why it would be an incredible choice for you students to go and to involve us in your journey into Canadian study experience. So just to introduce who we are. So we are OneApply by Gyanbari, and our mission is to make university admissions faster, easier, simpler. How do we go about doing that? Very simply, we have an incredible platform. It is called OneApply. This platform is a common application platform, but it's a lot more. It is a platform where you will find out all the updated information about universities in Canada and other destinations. You'd find out, all your application process will be through this portal. It is a very simple, user-friendly interface. And this is how we simplify an often complicated process, isn't it? And who we are experts in university admissions. We're experts, and we have been so for over a decade now. We have counseled over 15,000 students. We have sent more than 4,000 university application service in 15 countries. And we've got an existing network of over 30 countries. So, when you want to study abroad, let us be part of that experience. Some of the recent Canadian university placements, we've got someone who's done their MBA, Masters of Business Administration, from Simon Fraser University, located in British Columbia. It's a research university, a public university. Then we've got recent graduates from University of Toronto and University of Waterloo, both located in Ontario. So a wide variety of choices for you. A little bit about Canada now. For those of you who are new or who aren't very aware, that south of Canada is located in the continent of North America, and to the south of Canada is the USA, United States. To the east, they've got the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific to the west, and Arctic to the north. The most popular province is Ontario. All the very popular cities are located there. So you've got the capital of Canada, Ottawa, over there. You've got Vancouver. You've got Toronto, all located in Ontario. But some of us also are aware of some other provinces. So there are 13 provinces in Canada. British Columbia is another popular province that we know of. We've got a very popular community colleges in provinces such as Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and then we've got Quebec, a French-speaking province also in Canada. So it's a beautiful country. As you can see, all the states, most of the states are located south of the country, where the weather is a lot more tolerable. It can get quite severe as you go up into closer up to the North Pole. Now, why do you choose Canada? Why do people? Canada is such a popular choice to migrate, to study, to get educated. Why is this? The quality of living is excellent. You know, the work-life balance is one of the best. It's ranked number 3, in fact. And you'll always find, no matter what ranking site you go to, it's always in the top 2, top 3, top 4 in terms of quality of life. And also, the quality of education goes hand in hand with affordability. In many places, you know, the better the quality, the higher the cost of education. Whereas in Canada, you've got a lot of options, right from very expensive education to very affordable ones. And the cost of living is offset by your study or by your work. You can earn while you learn. So you can work while you study, and in that way you can offset the living cost as well. And especially now you can work a lot more than you used to, you know, in a couple of years before. It is one of the safest destinations in the world, and there's a high employability rate, and that's because once you finish your work, you can choose to stay back and work. And usually when you do that, you end up getting this general trend is you end up getting integrated into society and you end up getting permanent residency as well. My colleague will talk in detail about these. Diversity, you can literally take point on the map, and you will find a representation of that particular country in Canada. Very diverse. You'll find people from all over the world, and it's great for people who want to, you know, interact with people from all cultures. Get all sorts of living experiences. It's fantastic for students that way. And it's also excellent to do research. So studies are not just limited to classrooms. So you've got a lot of innovative ways of learning. There's abundant research opportunities as well. There's also internship education. So you can, that's what's called as co-op education over there. And you've got the opportunity to work while studying. Now, just before I drop some names like community colleges, research universities. So you must be wondering, what are all these? So there are different types of secondary institutions, educational institutions in Canada. So in universities are the largest educational establishments. So they're bigger, they've got bigger campuses, many courses to choose from, lot more facilities, and a lot of students in these universities. So the most common ones and the most prestigious ones are public universities, and then you've got private universities as well as research universities, which I had mentioned earlier. Then there are smaller smaller educational establishments such as community colleges. Now, under community colleges, I've already mentioned Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and several others are there. College of Applied Arts or Technology. So you've got Centennial College and many other colleges offering, applied arts or applied technology courses. You've got polytechnic institutes such as SAIT, SAIT. You've got something called as a network of colleges in Quebec. And then you've got career colleges, which offer very relevant career courses. But bear in mind, these are career colleges are private colleges, and when it comes to private colleges, not all of them may be eligible for work permit once you graduate. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Once again, popular universities in Canada, you can see UBC, University of Waterloo, I've already mentioned, one of our recent graduates. University of Toronto has also, a recent graduate. UNB, fantastic university. Concordia, University of Calgary. So a lot of universities tend to be concentrated on the southern belt, but if you move a little bit north, where there are the population is a little scarcer, you have more opportunities in terms of universities and permanent residency. So these are also options worth considering. Colleges as well is a fantastic way to further your learning. Many students assume that universities are a better option. It is in the sense that you have a lot of resources at your hand, but colleges offer more individualized, personalized sort of courses where the class sizes are smaller. So, the professors and the lecturers can give you more personalized attention, and there are interesting programs in place. So there are programs where, you study for 3 years in a college, and then there is a tie-up with a university for postgraduate transition programs. So please do explore colleges. Seneca is fantastic. NSCC, SAIT, as I mentioned earlier, Holland College, all fantastic colleges. Now my colleague will go in more detail about education system in Canada. Ayona, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayona Peter. I'm a senior counselor at OneApply by Ganbury. So before we move on to the session, thank you so much, Harshan, for taking us through the key factors which makes Canada the most favorite destination for international students. So I actually have counseled like more than 100 plus students so far in my career in international education industry. And I was fortunate to be a part of the students journey, and I've placed a lot of students in the most popular universities in Canada, and it always makes me happy when I get a call from my students or a text from my students mentioning they have graduated from their programs, they got their work permits, and they get their PR. So, and also I'm feeling so much happy that these much students are today interested to hear about Canada. So in this session, I will be taking you through the education system in Canada. What are the popular industries in Canada? I'll be explaining you about what are the basic entry requirements for bachelor's as well as master's programs in Canada. And also we'll be giving you a brief idea about the tuition fees, an idea about the postgraduate work permits and PR opportunities in Canada. So let us have a look at the education system in Canada. So basically, the government of Canada prioritizes the education. There are a lot of institutions, as Harshan has mentioned. There are colleges, community colleges, career colleges, universities, which are private, public, and research-based. So let's look what are the programs these universities and colleges offering. So the first one is the certificate program. This is generally an undergraduate program. This is just a 1-year program. And we also have diploma programs which are of 2 years. These are undergraduate diploma programs. And we also have advanced diploma programs of 2 to 3 years. Advanced diploma programs, comparing to the diploma programs, they will be having something in advance. Comparing to the diploma, they will be having additional, something kind of internship, additional subjects will be included in that particular program. So, and I would also like to enlighten you that regarding the certificate program, since it is just a 1-year program, this program cannot give you a career upgrade or a career progression after completing this program. So basically, hence it is very difficult to get a visa for this programs, and there are very, very few students going for certificate program. But comparing with diploma and advanced diploma, there are a lot of students going for diploma and advanced diploma programs. These programs are generally offered in colleges like community colleges and polytechnic colleges, as well as science and technology colleges. And we also have bachelor's degree programs, postgraduate diploma program, as well as master's programs. So bachelor's programs, generally we can see bachelor's program in Canada for 4 years. Majority of the universities in Canada are offering 4 years bachelor's, but still you can find some 3 years bachelor's program in some universities which are non-research oriented, as well as in some community colleges also. You can find 3 to 4 years degree programs. and postgraduate diploma or certificate programs. These are 1 year or 2 years diploma programs, which the students will be taking this program after they graduate from a bachelor's program. They are skill oriented programs, and we also have master's programs. So usually the master's program can be extended from 1 to 3 years depending upon the program of study. And there are doctorate and PhD programs as well. These are the career upgradation programs which usually the students take after completing their master's programs. So next we can look into the major industries in Canada. So speaking about Canada, Canada is a country which has a lot of opportunity, a lot of career opportunities. So when we look into a specific country, we can find a particular industry which is high in demand in that country, like a healthcare sector in UK, IT industry in Ireland, automobile industry in Germany. But in Canada, when we look into it, there are a lot of industries which are very much in high in demand. We can see here healthcare and medicine industry, engineering industry, computer science industry, business and finance industry, law industry, education, applied and pure sciences, media and journalism industries. So speaking about the healthcare and medicine industries, there are a lot of professions in this industry, like a physiotherapist, occupational therapist, pharmacist, registered nurse, doctors, etc. So there are a high demand for this particular careers in this industry. And coming to computer science industry, you can work in Canada as a data analyst, cloud computer, web design developers, and again, cybersecurity professionals and all. And in engineering, speaking about the engineering industry in Canada, which is a very popular industry, and we have electrical engineering, which is a very demanded career opportunities program in Canada. And also there are project engineers, civil engineering, and like software engineering, which is also very much very high demanded programs in Canada. And when we speak about the business and finance industry in Canada, Canada is a country which is a booming country for business and finance. You can find a lot of opportunities for business and finance industry, like financial analyst, business analyst, accountant, actuarist, investment management, market research, etc. And then comes a regulatory profession like law and education. You can work in Canada as a lawyer, an associate, law clerk, etc. in Canada. And also regarding the education industry, also there are opportunities for teachers, professors. You can work as education leaders in Canada. And then as the applied and pure sciences. So speaking about this industry, there are programs like biotechnology, chemistry, food sciences, geography, environmental sciences, etc. And then as a media and journalism industry, as every country, there are definitely opportunities for media and journalism industry. You can work as a journalist in Canada. There are options for photography, filmmaking, market research, research analyst, etc. And don't worry if you do not find any particular field which you are intending to pursue in Canada in this list, because Canada has a lot of options, a lot of career opportunities. You can find 1,000+ programs in Canada, and the Canadian government made sure that the student graduating from that program will be definitely placed in that particular field itself. And next, we can look into the entry criteria. As I know you will be very much excited to know about the entry criteria for the bachelor's and master's programs, because you might be in a rush to apply to start your application procedures. Yes, for the bachelor's program, the basic requirements are the student should have a high school diploma or a grade 12. And the requirements also comes like language proficiency requirements are also there for Canada. So the basic IELTS requirements, IELTS is the only accepted language proficiency test in Canada. So most of the university for the bachelor's program does not require the student should have IELTS during their application procedures, but definitely it is mandatory for the visa. During the submitting your visa application, you should definitely submit the IELTS. So, but still, majority of the programs, some of the programs require the student should submit the IELTS, and the minimum basic requirement is that the students should have an overall band of 6.5 for IELTS for the bachelor's program, with a minimum band of 6 for the individual bands. But you can definitely find some programs will be asking for just a overall band of 6 for the bachelor's program. And there will be program specific requirements depending on the program which you are applying for. Some programs will be asking for particular subjects like mathematics, biology. It varies depending upon the program which you are opting to pursue. And there are some additional requirements like statement of purpose. So the statement of purpose is a document which the student need to submit during their application procedures, mentioning what is their intention to pursue this particular program, what are why the student is choosing this Canada. I mean, why the student is choosing Canada as a destination, why they are interested in this particular industry or that particular university. So, and the next one is the portfolio. This is an additional requirement which is asked for some kind of programs like graphic designing, animation, or if you're looking for a program in arts, like painting, drawing, and all, you need to submit a portfolio which states your works and everything. So, depending upon the portfolio, the university will be considering your application for the admission purpose. And some programs like Bachelor of Social Service require voluntary experience, which states that you have done an activity, social service activity for a particular hours. And you also need to submit resume or a CV. And some programs require the student should clear an interview procedure as well. And now let's look into the master's programs. Yeah. So the master's programs, the basic requirements are 4 years bachelor's in relevant profession, in relevant discipline. Suppose if you want to apply for a bachelor's in computer engineer, sorry, a master's in computer engineering, then the admission requirement for that program will be you should definitely have a bachelor's of 4 years in the similar discipline, that is computer science. And in some cases, the university will be considering even if you are from a 3 years of bachelor's degree, depending upon the accreditation of the university which you have completed and depending upon your syllabus for your bachelor's. And the bachelor's degree GPA varies from university to university. If it is a high-end university, the GPA will be on the higher side. But there will be definitely a minimum eligibility criteria to apply for every university. But if you want to get accepted to a high-end university, you should, we always suggest your students to have good GPA scores during their bachelor's. And the IELTS requirement for the master's program are 7, overall band of 7. And even for some programs, the university require the student should complete an IELTS with a band of 7.5. And the next important document or a requirement is official transcripts. So basically, these official transcripts are asked by all the universities during the admission procedures or after the student gets admitted to the university. So what this official transcript is that this is a transcript which is official sent from the university which you have completed your bachelor's directly to the university which you are going to pursue your master's program, and that in a sealed envelope. So it's actually university to university. I mean, send university from a university to the university. And the next one is statement of purpose. As I mentioned for the bachelor's program, for masters also, statement of purpose is a mandatory requirement for almost all the master's programs. But still, there are very, very few university does not require statement of purpose for some master's programs like Master of Engineering and Mechanical Engineering and all. Some university does not require statement of purpose, but a majority of the university for the master's program, they require statement of purpose as well as reference. So reference, usually the university asks online reference procedures. So during you start your application procedures, and if your university for that particular program require references, always inform your referees that they will be receiving a referral procedure from the university that they should complete before your admission decision is made from the university. And there are some additional requirements apart from this basic requirements like professional experience. Suppose if you're going to apply for a program like MBA or a Master of Engineering Management, these kinds of programs require the student should have professional experience in that particular industry. And also some programs, definitely like MBA and a Master of Engineering Management and others and programs, they require standard tests like GRE, GMAT. So GRE basically is meant for engineering programs and GMAT is meant for the master's programs like the management programs like MBA or Master of Finance, Master of Science and Accounting and all. And letter of recommendations, resume, interview procedures are also there for some universities depending upon the program. So suppose if you are looking for a master's in music or some kind of program in drama or some programs like which require the student should go through a particular stage, the university requires the student should complete an interview procedure where the university will be evaluating how eligible you are for that particular program. And as I said before, some university for master's programs in arts and graphics and all, they require portfolio. Then the next one is West means World Education Services. So this is a credential evaluation basically. So majority of the university does not require West to be done from the part of the student during their application procedures, but still there are some university which require the student should complete West before starting their application procedures to the university. Yeah, so yeah, here comes the most exciting part for the parents. I know almost all the parents will be very much eager to know about the tuition fees and the living expenses for the universities in Canada. So let's have a look into it. For the certificate program of 1 year, the tuition fees comes around like 15,000 Canadian dollars to 16,500 Canadian dollars. And for the undergraduate diploma and advanced diploma programs, the tuition fees are almost similar. It comes around 16,500 to 18,000 Canadian dollars. So 18,000 Canadian dollars, it's actually the maximum. And for the bachelor's program, the tuition fees are 21,000 Canadian dollars to comes up to 45,000 Canadian dollars. And for the master's program, the tuition fees falls under 22,000 Canadian dollars to 50,000 Canadian dollars. Suppose if you want to apply to a high-end university like University of Toronto, University of Waterloo, Queen's University, the tuition fees will be on the higher side always, depending upon the university ranking, the university facilities, the tuition fees will be always on the higher side. And next is the living expenses in Canada. So basically, the living expenses in Canada are very cheaper comparing to other English-speaking countries like US, Australia, UK and all. So it's just 10,000 Canadian dollars to 12,000 Canadian dollars per month. And that too varies depending upon every individual. If you are a person who spends a lot, there might be chances where it can go up to 20,000 Canadian dollars even. And let's move on to the next slide. So this is basically the academic intakes in Canada. So here we can see in Canada, the universities and colleges offers basically 3 intakes, like September intake or the fall intake. So the September or the fall intake is the major intake in Canada. And then comes the January intake. January intake or the winter intake. This is also a major intake, but most of the programs, I mean, all the programs will be offered for the September intake. Whereas there might be some programs will not be offered in January intake. And again, we have a interim intake, which is May or spring intake. So this is an intake where only few programs will be offered from many of the colleges, and even in universities, very limited university are offering spring intake to international students. And the start dates for September or the fall intake, the programs for university and colleges, they usually start from August to September. So basically, the universities in Canada and colleges in Canada, they start the intake prior to 1 year. So if you want to pursue the studies in Canada, you should start your application procedures before 1 year. So we'll be starting from shortlisting the universities and everything. So we should start the procedures prior to 1 year. Like if you want to apply for 20 September 2024, we should start the procedures from August 2023. And for January or the winter, they will be starting the intake from April to May. And for the spring intake, it will start from May to June. And this too depends upon the individual university and colleges. There are some universities and colleges where the intake starts from October, but majority for the September intake, but majority of the universities and colleges, they will be starting their intake from August to September. Yeah. So we can move to the next slide. Yeah, so this is the most exciting slide. We have a lot of information about the postgraduate work permit opportunities and PR opportunities. Basically, you know that Canada is a country which has a lot of immigration possibilities. It is, comparing to other English speaking countries, it is very easy to get a permanent residency status in Canada. So, speaking about the stay back options in Canada, usually if the student is going for a 1 year program, they are eligible for a stay back of only 1 year. And if the student is going for a program of 2+ years, they are eligible for a stay back of up to 3 years. And during their studies, they can work in Canada on campus or off campus up to 20 years. So recently, there have been some changes in this policy. The government has made some temporary public policy regarding the work permit opportunities for international students. So currently, the students who have submitted their visa application prior October 7, 2022, they are eligible to work in Canada more than 20 years full time. So that is actually a very good thing which the Canada government has put forward. And it is only valid till December 31st, 2023. And there might be some chances of extending this policy, but no idea because it's completely depending upon the government discretion. And yeah, so majority of the programs in Canada, whether it is a diploma program or it is a bachelor's program or master's program, majority universities and colleges offer the programs with co-op or co-operational work term or an internship. This is basically an internship where the student can work in that particular industry where the student is studying in. Suppose if you're studying for a program in a mechanical field, and if the program is having an internship, you will be eligible to apply during your studies in the mechanical industry. So to be eligible to work during your internship, you need to apply for a co work permit during your visa application. And if the student is having a co-op during their studies, they won't be eligible to work part-time if the co-op is more than 20 years per week. And there are paid co-ops as well as non-paid co-ops. If you're doing a non-paid co-op, definitely you will be eligible to work part-time. If it is a paid co-op and it is going more than 20 years, you will not be eligible to work part-time during that studies. And as I said, postgraduate work permit opportunities in Canada are up to 3 years. You can work in Canada up to 3 years after completing your 2 years program in Canada. And after graduating from the program in Canada, you are eligible to apply for permanent residency after completing 12 months of full-time work in Canada. So yeah, that was all about Canada, the stay back and everything. Arjun, can you move on to the next slide? Yeah, so the next slide is all about OneApply by Ganbury. So how, what OneApply by Ganbury can help you? How, what are the procedures will be helping you throughout? What is our role in your study journey? So I believe that all the portions or all the parts which I have mentioned was pretty much clear to you and will be very much helpful for you for your study journey to reach your dream destination. So hereafter, Mr. Harshan will be taking over the session. Harshan, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ayona. That was so insightful and detailed. I hope students, when you started off versus where you are now, you have a much clearer understanding of the destination and of the choices ahead of you. Now, the next phase of this webinar is how we can be part of this journey for you. Before I go into that, I want to assure all of you students that you will be given a time to ask questions once we conclude with this webinar. You'll be given quite a few minutes to post your questions in the Q&A, and we will answer as many questions as we can. So how can OneApply help you? With OneApply, as I was hinting before, we simplify the admissions process. And it's not just about simplification, it's also about a lot of other aspects. Now, what are they? Counseling and profile assessment. Uh, Now, when we talk about counseling and profile assessment and all of the other subsequent points that you can see here, all of these are, personalized. So be it counseling, none of these are templated. They are customized to each student because each student has a different, journey towards their specific university. So when we do the counseling, we keep that in mind. We keep the students' profile, their strengths, their interests in mind, and we assess the profile based on that. And we plan the university choices because we believe that every student has a particular university which is a good fit for them. So based on their profile, based on their academic performance, a lot of other factors, we counsel the students, we plan universities. So that's a service that we offer. We also assist in submitting applications to the universities of your choice. And once you do receive offers, we finalize the admission offers, and we also assist in the visa application. So as you can see, from point A to Z, we are there with you every step of the journey. And all of this, as I mentioned previously, is through the portal and through personalized services from us. So that's how we are there with you in the journey. Another fantastic service which we suggest that each one of you should look into is the Super Mentor program. Now, who's a Super Mentor? Super Mentors are senior students that are currently studying in top universities. They would be, when you get in touch with them, they are literally the eyes on the ground. They are there at the university, at the campus, at the destination, studying, living, working there. So you get to know their experience, the experience of landing in a particular university, the admissions process, and how it is to live there. What are the challenges? What are the things that you need to take in factor in before you get into the destination? How is the facility and faculty of that particular place, of that particular college? All of these micro information you will get from Super Mentor, and you can connect with them. Excuse me. So you can connect with them on our website. You can choose a 30-minute slot, or you can choose a 60-minute slot, and you can connect with these wonderful students, super mentors that we call them, and you'll get a much better idea of how it is to live and study in a particular college and destination. Now, we've got a fantastic website, ganbury.com. Please visit our website. There are a lot of webinars on there as well. You'll find a few webinars on Canada. Have a look, and there'll be more coming in, in the subsequent weeks and days and months ahead. So have a look at all the different colleges and universities in there. Have a look at the webinars, and it's a fantastic resource that we recommend you look up. So with this, we have come to the end of this webinar. Thank you for patiently listening to us. And I mean, thank you, Ayona, as well, for for that extremely detailed presentation of some of the incredible programs Canada has to offer.